Pinocchio is a great movie, everybody. That's my nose growing.
Oh,
see?
Okay.
All right. Anyway, we're going to talk about this Disney disaster called Pinocchio, the live-action Pinocchio, kind of live-action, Pinocchio reboot that nobody wanted, nobody asked for, nobody seems to like.
Apparently. Some people do, but most don't.
Not very many, so we're going to talk about Disney's latest disaster, another daily dose of dismal Disney. That's 2 in one day.
Yeah.
Imagine that. We're
Hey, well, this
ramping
weekend's
up our-
D23, so there might be a lot.
Oh my God, it's going to be like 10 videos a day, right?
I don't know.
That's what we're going to do. The D23, dismal Disney D23 roundup. Anyway, let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 275,000 subs.
What?
Thank you for the support. Go out to piratesandprincesses.net for objective Disney news. And also, speaking of support, your support has been great on Crimson Wren. Please back this campaign. We're looking to produce a full-color graphic novel done in the style of like a 1980s cartoon or movie, and it's doing pretty well so far. We still have 2 weeks left to go. We're at $48,000, almost $50,000. Thank you so much for the support. You'll probably like this book more than most people like Pinocchio.
Hopefully.
So it's not doing good, and if you just punch in Disney Pinocchio on Google, this is what comes up.
Yeah, I noticed earlier that I was seeing headlines that didn't look too good, and then I went like, well, what's the Rotten Tomatoes score on it? And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, this is bad. Now, I knew it wasn't going to be great. Now, here's the thing. Pinocchio is considered by many people to be Disney's greatest animated movie. It's one of the scariest. It's got some pretty dark overtones, but it is one that a lot of people think is like the pinnacle of Disney animation, and to have it bastardized in such a way, is very sad. Collider says Disney's masterpiece is terrible in live action. The Telegraph says Tom Hanks should be embarrassed by this wooden mess. Pinocchio comes to life on Disney Plus with Oscar winner Tom Hanks. You have to watch it because he's an Oscar winner. There are major changes to the movie. We'll talk about those later.
Disney's Pinocchio review. Rewatch the original instead of this wooden remake.
Ouch. Not good.
It's not good. And we're going to look at some of the reviews. And as I was writing the article on piratesandprincesses.net, I was refreshing Rotten Tomatoes, and the scores were dropping in real time.
Yeah, so let's hit refresh again.
It went up.
It went up.
Oh, see, now they're going to try to do what they can to counteract the review bombing. But, it's just funny because I'm like, is it review bombing when the media does it?
I don't think so. I think they're allowed to get a pass.
You don't call review bombing on this because it's not a POC or female character.
Well, yes, but the Blue Fairy is now. So anyway, lots of changes. We'll talk about some of the changes. I haven't seen the movie yet. I forgot it was a thing. And I'm reading the reviews, and I'm like, there's no way I'm watching this.
Meanwhile, Marcel the Shell with shoes on has a 99%.
I heard it was good.
I'm just putting that out there.
I actually heard Marcel the Shell with shoes on, which I forgot was even a thing. It was a YouTube thing, and they did a movie about it, and I heard it was actually very good. And it was very kind of Pixar-esque and whimsical, and a hell of a lot better than Pinocchio, which at one point was 30%. So we're coming up in the world here. 32%, 47% audience score. They just hate it because Pinocchio's black now.
Yeah, that's right. Even some of the positive reviews, the fresh, are bad reviews.
That's typical for Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I've seen some that were like, they're giving this movie like a 5 out of 10, but they're counting it as positive. Like, they're like, it's competently shot, and that's about it. It's a dog shit movie.
That's kind of basically what these are. So let's take a look at some of these critical scores. We have Amy Nicholson from the New York Times. The reimagining goes awry in the opening number. Not When You Wish Upon a Star, the Oscar winner that ascended to become the company's signature tune, but a new ballad, When He Was Here With Me, sung by Geppetto about his freshly concocted dead son.
Oh, that's a great way
So I guess it starts off that his kid dies.
So he's replacing his dead kid with
that's worse, people.
Puppet.
That's worse. Because at least before he just wanted a son and didn't have one.
Yes.
Now you're like, oh, it's okay. It's like when your pet dies, you just go get a new pet. So this time he just builds a doll.
Well, I told you I'm going to get one of those Boston Dynamics dogs, and I'm going to upload our dog's memory into the dog, and he's going to be Charlie 2.0.
No, just keep. Charlie 1.0 around as long as
I want to, but I'm also like, we can.
You'll never be Charlie, so stop. Anyway.
No, he can be Charlie-esque. He can be Charlie adjacent.
He's not. Stop. Then we have the one, exercise and mimicry that could have been everything it wanted to, but has settled for the unbearable laziness.
Full review in Spanish.
Look at the Polygon one. It's fresh.
A top-to-bottom embarrassment with no good reason to exist is fresh? What the hell?
I would do that to a troll. I would write reviews that were like shit and then give it fresh.
This is ridiculous. Oh my God. A massive misfire. The animation is ugly and disturbing with plastic-looking characters and equally ghastly voice performances. Gordon Levitt is terrible as Jiminy Cricket. Not my first choice for Jiminy Cricket. Giving a whiny, strained turn as one of the story's most cherished characters.
Pinocchio sounded like Pinocchio for the most part, looked like Pinocchio, but when I heard Jiminy Cricket, I was like, oh no.
Now this is better than what Polygon said. A welcome but hardly necessary reimagining. And they got it rotten. The animation is now so hyper advanced, the landscape of the movie is so eerily both this and that, it's easy to get confused about where reality stops and ones and zeros take over. That's fresh. That's fresh.
Here we go. Disney's tepid 2019 live-action remake of The Lion King, it's virtually a beat-for-beat remake of the original, but without the original energy and movement. People are sick of the remakes. I saw headlines that were saying that. Pinocchio's proving people are sick of live-action remakes.
But it's not a beat-for-beat. There are, oh my God, it just goes on. It's almost all negative. There's no reason for this movie to exist. There's a reason Disney chose to not allow critics to talk about this film till the day of release. Like
the titular puppet at center, Pinocchio lingers in an existential purgatory.
The visual highlights and a few choices make it watchable enough for Disney Plus audiences, but how much good is there in an adventure like this when the 1940 classic does everything better? Again, a lot of animation historians, a lot of animation buffs consider Pinocchio one of, if not the best, Walt Disney movie. Like it was one of the first 5 films when Disney was interested in making art and not making a whole lot of money.
Well, if you're tired of the live action remakes, well, I got news for you. There's a bunch more coming. We haven't got our Snow White yet. We have the Little Mermaid coming. Are they doing a Bambi now? I'm like, and the list goes on and on. So they're gonna keep pumping this shit out.
Here, this is considered fresh. A perfectly entertaining viewing experience, but nothing more. Wow. That's not good. Now, speaking of not good, there are some changes to Pinocchio. Spoilers if you haven't seen it, if you're still going to watch it.
Spoilers here. Just FYI. If you continue, that's your problem.
It's your own damn problem. The new Disney Plus Pinocchio name checks Chris Pine, and there's a Toy Story Easter egg. I saw the clip. Basically, Geppetto's got a bunch of clocks, and all the clocks have current year Disney movie characters.
Mike was telling, our one writer Mike was telling about that.
Well, that makes no sense. But they also name checked Chris Pine. They said that could be a stage name. Ha ha.
Because he's wood.
How dare you assume the kind of trees?
By the reviews, Tom Hanks is a wooden stage name too.
Sopranos star plays Pinocchio's new seagull pal, Sophia. Why does...
People said there was a lot of characters they made up just for no reason.
Oh my God. To sell plush? Hank's Geppetto gets new songs. Yeah, they got rid of When You Wish Upon a Star. Like, what the hell are you thinking? Oh, okay. 3 of them are intact. When You Wish Upon a Star, belted beautifully by the Blue Fairy. Okay. Hi, diddle-dee-dee, and I've Got No Strings. The movie sadly omits 2 tracks. Little Wooden Head and Give a Little Whistle. Give a little whistle. Like, yeah, there you go. Give a little whistle. While adding 4 new ones, 2 ditties, Spoke sung by Hank's Geppetto, a ballad for Fabiana, and a sinister song and dance number for the coachman, Luke Evans, as he lures Pinocchio and children to Pleasure Island.
You know, if I was someone luring children, I'd have a sinister ditty too. I'm sorry.
It's Epstein's song.
Poor Luke Evans keeps getting cast as like bad guys. Gaston, now the coachman.
Disney doesn't want to be...
Oh, there's no cigars and beer at Pleasure Island. Cigars, you had to remove...
Just child trafficking. That's it. That's all they do now.
But you had to remove, like, cigarettes, cigars, and stuff from Disney.
Yes, let me tell you a funny little story about my time in Disney Comics. Like, you guys are so freaking sick of hearing about it. But yeah, I worked on Disney Comics for, like, what? Was it like 10, 15 years? It was a while. It was a while. Anyway, part of my job included censoring old Disney comics. So Disney comics that were made in like the 50s and 60s when characters would smoke cigars and have handguns and all this crazy stuff they're not allowed to do now. And I actually had to go back in and redraw panels that, like Donald Duck would have a cigar exploding in his face. No, you can't do that. It had to be a firecracker because that makes so much more sense.
Yeah, he's so stupid he put a firecracker in his...
So then,
Don't do this at home, kids. We'll have a cigar, we'll put a firecracker.
So then I have to draw a panel where Donald's brains are splattered all over the wall. No.
I'm just saying that was what the replacement was?
It was a firecracker, yeah.
Are you effing kidding me?
He was smoking a firecracker or something. It was so stupid. I'm like, what?
Oh my God, that's way worse. At least cigar, the kids know what... Okay.
I told you the one story with Mickey Mouse. And I think it was Mickey Mouse versus the Phantom Blot, or one of the Phantom Blot stories. Phantom Blot's a dude that he's just a big black blob.
He's an ink blob, basically.
He's an ink blob. But he was a villain in the comics. And Mickey was pointing a gun at him. I think it was...
Because that's going to work.
Because that's going to work. And, Mickey can't have a gun. So even though this villain is like going to kill Minnie... Mickey can't point a gun at him. So Mickey's pointing at him. He's pointing in the air. He's got his hands behind his back, monologuing to this guy who's just listening to Mickey explain himself. When in the original comic, he actually was pointing a gun at the son of a bitch. He was going to blow his head off. But, we can't have that in the current year Disney comic. And then all of the Song of the South comics probably went missing. They probably got deleted off the server or something forever.
Back to this.
Anyway.
Now there's no cigars and beer.
There's no cigar. So wait, they have root beer? Characters clarify their foamy drinks are root beer. Oh, for fuck's sake. The whole purpose was these boys are doing bad boy things. And back in the 30s and 40s, kids grew up a lot quicker because they were working in the coal mine at like 8 years old.
Shit, Barks is going to get mad because now they're telling people if you drink a bunch of root beer, you're going to turn into a bunch of asses.
Do they actually turn into asses?
I don't know. Disney turned into asses a long time ago.
God, what is this? So many ads, I can't even say. Okay, here's one that gets me. Pinocchio may not actually become a real boy. So one of the happiest endings in all of Disney Anna is Pinocchio finally becoming a real boy. That's the whole purpose. In fact, there's lots of movies referencing that. Freaking AI, which was a depressing as hell movie. He wanted to become a real boy like Pinocchio. Nah, we can't have that. We can't have that. He may not actually become a real boy. I guess it's ambiguous. They said that Geppetto dies or potentially dies. Pinocchio cries him back to life.
Okay, that sounds very Disney.
Yes.
We've seen that done repeatedly.
And the father and son walk along the beach. Jimmy Cricket says in a voiceover that no one actually knows whether Pinocchio ever became a real boy. There's a brief glimpse of him without wooden hinges in his legs just before the film goes to black. But Geppetto loves him for exactly who he is. He didn't care if he was a boy or identified as a piece of wood. He still loves his dead son replacement.
I do love wood.
So many undertones. At least they didn't chop him up for firewood or something.
No, but
This one.
So there you have it.
Sounds like dog shit.
I don't know.
It sounds like an absolute dog shit.
The audience reviews are a little more mild than the critical scores. They're ranking higher. A lot. You're starting to see these 5 stars come in like crazy. There's a lot of half star, 1 stars too.
It has a good and moving story. The remake is worse than the original from the 4.
Right. Yeah, but there's a lot. Like there's a lot. There's a 5 star, half star, 1 star. People are gonna be like, oh my God, it's review bombing.
I love it.
But there are a lot of people that have things to say that are like mixed. There's a lot of people that gets good, a lot of people think it's not good. A lot of people are like, oh, it wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't bad either. So it's definitely a more positive spin with the audiences. That being said, it's still only at 47%. Has it changed?
Let's see. Let's see if Disney can pull Pinocchio out of a tailspin.
I'm sure they'll do whatever they have to.
No, it's gone down.
Down the audience again.
Yeah, this is not something I'm going to waste my time on, guys, so don't look for a Pinocchio review anytime soon on Clownfish TV. It looks like dog shit. It's unnecessary. I haven't even watched the last, 5 Disney remakes, and I
don't watch them. They're just why?
I am convinced the only reason they're doing these is to keep cash grab, trademark, copyright, something.
Yeah, I think something. Yeah, but they're using it for toys though. I don't know. It's just a much cheaper way to crank out shit quick.
It is. It is. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. All right, guys. So please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.